2, 1.
We'd like to welcome you to another edition of Grok Talk, brought to you by New Hampshire's leading conservative blog site, granitegrok.com. We are your feared extremist, right-wing, hard-charging, gun-toting, opinionated, outspoken, rabble-rousing, letter-writing, radio microphone stomping conservatives and rational libertarians. So get ready for more news and opinion you could only get from granitegrok.com.
Grok Talk.
All right, it's Grok Talk. Hey, I was thinking on the way here, if you have a budget and you add, I don't know, $500 million to it, is that a cut? I'll ask you, Greg, because you're an expert on this sort of thing. Greg Moore is with us. Mike Rogers is here. Skip has the day off. Kimberly Morin will be joining us in a couple of seconds. She's on the phone. Later on, we're going to have Brent Gardner, the VP of Government Affairs from AFP, on the Import-Export Bank, or is it the Export-Import Bank?
Exim, Export-Import.
We're going to talk about that.
We'd like to make it the X-Bank, but,
X-Bank.
but that never happens.
We're also going to have Michelle Lavelle later in the program to talk about some education legislation, and Jane Cormier is going to come in to tell us about her wild ride this week, and we'll get to that.
And Mike will tell you why the UK now looks like The Simpsons.
And we are going to talk about that because Greg brought it up. He wanted to talk about that too. But the first segment is dedicated to the lovely and talented Kimberly Morin, who wanted to give us a little update on the Balsams vote this week and some pissed off legislators and some other fun things that went on. So, hey, how you doing, Kimberly?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Sorry you couldn't be in studio with us today. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, those ignoring the alarms doesn't work out quite well.
Don't you have dogs or something?
But my dogs sleep until 10, 11, or 12.
Oh, man. My dogs are up at like 5.
No, I don't have that problem. And sometimes it's a bad thing because they would wake me up on time, when I need to get up for things like this.
I can't possibly sleep past 5:30. It just doesn't work. I'm up. So I just plan to be up. It's just the way it is. So, interesting legislative week. Reminder that Kimberly is a contributor at Manchester Buzz, Examiner, and the FederalistPapers.com.org. I forget.
Me too.
Oh, okay.
just
it's
find
not
it. Keep it until they
Federalist.
find it.
It's not the Federalist. It's the Federalist Papers.
Or Federalist Papers, yeah.
But she's cranking out some great stuff about New Hampshire and legislation and what's going on around here, so you should go check those things out.
And,
So anyway,
and there's so much official malfeasance to crank stuff out about.
there's no shortage. So Kimberly,
So,
what's up your bonnet? What bee would you like to start with?
wow. Okay.
It could be any bee, but balsams would probably be a good one.
Well, there was talk of flamethrowers, punches to the neck. There was a lot of rhetorical violence.
Throat punching.
Yes, throat punching.
Let me hang on because I want to give you the exact words. I'll talk about the balsams real quick, and then I'll talk about a maroon we have running in Rockingham 32.
A maroon.
Isn't it a cookie?
A cookie. A macaroon.
A macaroon, okay.
That was a nice word. It's not like my preferred word.
The tale of the ancient marooner.
Hey, Skip might be sick, but he's probably listening, so I'm not getting in trouble.
Remember, we are not regulated by the FCC yet.
But believe me, I have a blog talk radio show up for that's just myself and another woman on Wednesday nights, and we push those limits.
Oh, good for you. Where's the show streamed from?
It's blog talk radio. It's called War by Women.
Okay.
We fight against the left-wing feminazi.
Right. We need to promote that too, though. So let's just make sure. Remind me later, and we'll talk about doing some promotion for that. So okay.
So really quick about the Balsams. Obviously, it passed in the House, huge margin. Only 57 Republicans voted against it. 56 Republicans, 1 Democrat voted against SB 30. That's the Senate Bill 30, which made allowed unincorporated places like Dixville Notch, which has 25 residents maybe, to be incorporated and be able to be a tax district, etc.
And they said it was about the ability of these districts to fund certain projects, etc. And everybody giving evidence pro was talking about the balsams and the great benefits it would bring. And as soon as you said, balsams, problems, they said, well, it's not about the balsams.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what some of the legislators like to say. Oh, it's not really about the balsams. Really? Then why wasn't this brought up 5 or 10 years ago? Because Coos County hasn't been doing great for longer than that, probably.
Well, wait a second. We had the Coos County tax credit that created 7 jobs. Remember that a couple of years ago?
Oh, I wrote a great article about that over on watchdog.org, and I went through the numbers. They actually have had no increase in employed people since they started the program. The exact same number of people are employed and unemployed as when we started spending money to change that.
To employ them. Well, in the Business Finance Authority, which I'm doing even more research on because they've got some sketchy deals that they've invested money into. They have spent money up in Berlin and up in North Country. I don't think it created any jobs. The Business Finance Authority doesn't seem to create many jobs. They like to say they preserve them. It's like New Hampshire's version of Obama's shovel-ready jobs program. So huge waste of taxpayer money for
Jobs created or preserved?
Yeah.
They preserved jobs in state government. They preserved jobs in their organization, probably.
Yeah.
But, not for the man on the street.
So, but what the new thing I found out, and I didn't know this before, and you guys know how much I've been involved in this and researching it, and so there's still a ton more stuff to find out. But some representatives received an email, and it's about the financing. How would the funding structure work for the project? And, they talk about the owner's investment, construction financing, senior secured bank debt, which means they get paid first, and then the state guarantee of a private bond, which is where we come in. But what it says is a private lender has been identified that will provide financing for both the senior secured debt and the senior secured bond, provided that the Balsams is able to secure credit enhancement from the state of New Hampshire in the form of the guarantee proposed in SB 30. So when I told you guys a couple weeks how Les Otten said, well, Plan B is Plan A, that's because he can't get financing, whether it be private investors or private lenders, unless the state backs him up.
Then what you're basically saying is that these people won't put their money on the line unless it's not on the line.
That's right.
Nice.
Or at least unless we're taking the first dent when there's any damage, any monies to be paid out. Clearly, the developer's not putting up enough of his own money to make the investors feel comfortable. Either that or the deal's so bad that they need 90% of it to be underwritten. And the state has no business being in this.
And to be clear, I don't think it's about the balsams per se. Mm-hmm. It's about why is the state in the business of giving loans out that the private sector says, whoa, we don't want to touch that one.
And the other issue is that this is just the first proposed bailout or investment is the word I think.
It's not even as if they have a sports team that's threatening to leave the state if their stadium at the Balsams is not renovated.
Wait a second, we just lost a sports team in Manchester, so we're not going to rebuild the horizon now, are we?
Oh, you never know. Sorry, squirrels, go ahead.
So, well, I was just letting you guys go off in your squirrely way.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. That's what we like about you.
So that was the latest about the Balsams. I'm also researching more into the Business Finance Authority now, too, because I got their annual reports, and they're not very transparent of an organization. Shocking, I know. But some of their deals that I've seen that they've given money to is like Steve Dupre for a building.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember that email.
Yeah. And then somebody else, some woman who is being charged with fraud from the SEC. Oh, yay. So,
fraud, here's a check.
Yeah, exactly. And here's your sign, taxpayers.
Yeah, no kidding.
So I'm looking into that further, but I wanted to give you that update about the Balsams because I just saw that yesterday, or the day before yesterday. I was like, "Are you kidding me? They couldn't go forward with this." Here I was just thinking Les Otten was Veruca Salt. Well, he is. He's quite arrogant, but
the band, or the character,
the character.
The band is actually good. I think Willy Wonka, but they didn't tell this. They didn't tell this in the hearing in the House committee. They didn't say a private lender will not give him money unless the state backs it up as well. Because if they had said that, I think a lot of more reps might have said, "Oh my God, no way." Well, who knows?
Well, the first thing I did was to post that of the 8 reps in my district in Merrimack, New Hampshire, only one of them, the freshman, the youngest, Josh Moore, voted the correct.
No relation.
No relation. Well, we had Ron Moore, his father, on last week, and we have you, and there's a lot of more. There's more and more and more. And he was the only one who voted the conservative small government vote. He voted against it. And the rest of them, some of them who are pretty good conservatives otherwise, voted the wrong way. And I'm waiting. Yep. I haven't heard any blowback yet, but I'm thinking maybe I ought to just show up at the next town Republican meeting and see who has words for me, because that's a debate I would love to have, especially given the new revelations. But the old stuff was more than adequate. There's no reason for a conservative Republican to vote for this thing.
No. They shouldn't have ever. And I heard so many of them that are supposedly liberty Republicans or whatever say it's only fair.
Yeah.
Really? So because we've been doing something stupid and backwards and screwing the taxpayers over for all these years, we should just keep doing it and add some more groups into that mix.
Well, it's Coos County's turn, right? The taxpayers have been screwed over for everybody else. Now it's their turn.
Yeah, well, do you know that's what they said? Some of the people from Coos County who testified actually said that. It's our turn now. I was like, oh, my God. People don't realize what they're doing to themselves or to the rest of the state by backing someone who basically had to resign as CEO from American Skiing Company and left the company $400 million in debt.
Maybe they just need to raise the timber tax.
They can't. Even if they raise the timber tax, it doesn't matter because over 5,000 acres, it belongs to a conservation org. That is useless, unvaluable land to the ballroom.
Need to start taxing those conservative conservation groups.
I'm off for that.
Maybe the IRS should be, special focus on that.
So who owns the conservation land? Is that what's their name? Nature Conservancy?
It's not Nature Conservancy. It's lakes and mountains, something or other.
Lakes and mountains, trees, ducks, squirrels.
Well, Nature Conservancy does a fairly good job of identifying plots of land and working with the owners to basically lock it up, and they put money in.
No, this is the Forest Society.
Okay.
I hadn't heard.
Elves and gnomes and things. Oh my.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it's the Clinton Foundation.
It could be. It
could be.
Some Saudi money in there to lock up our land in the north.
That's right. They're gonna drill for arsenic. Big business.
It's in the wells. It's in the wells.
Yeah, anytime you drill into granite, you're going to find some arsenic.
That's right. We have tons of it. So anyway, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to move on to the second half of our little maroons. We're going to talk about macaroons. So hang on. Let me just push some little buttons, and we will be right
Electoral
back.
maroons.
Maroons.
Of New Hampshire taxpayers. We're located at 8 North Main in Concord, New Hampshire. This is the repository for all things conservative and municipal. So if you have a problem in your town, your school, your budget committee, the right to know law, and now the top of our list is voter fraud. You have a tip for us, some information for us, you want to join or help us out, cnht.org.